In this episode, you'll learn the 4 key growth curves of scaling your business, and you get a PDF download right from my blog. Let's get into it. Hi there and welcome. My name's Casey Gollan and welcome to episode number 9 of the Ad 10 Growth Show. Today I'm going to take you through the Ad 10 growth curves. And life's been good for me. Pretty happy with how things are going. Kids are good. They're keeping me up at night, which is when you've got a 9-week-old, then that's how it is. And you've got a 3-year-old that just doesn't want to listen. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully your life's good. Let's get into the show. All right, so I want to take you through these 4 growth curves, and what I want you to do, if you've been watching the show so far, you'll be learning how you used your time, how you used your money, and how you're using your team. Now you put all those together, and then you just spot where you are on the Ad 10 progression chart, which was episode 7. Then you can see how you can move to the next levels, and then with the accelerator that we just went through in the previous episode, you learn how you can accelerate your growth and how you can quickly move through all those other different pain points that we've been talking about through the series so far. And then that puts us onto this growth curves model, where what I'll do is I'll describe different growth curves that people are on, and then you'll be able to identify where you're on, and then with the progression chart, with the accelerator network, you can learn how to move from one particular growth curve onto another one that's preferable for you. So let's get into it. Okay, so what I've got here is the X and Y axes, and usually what happens here is clients are working without me, and then the intersecting point here is when they start working with me, and then we get them onto a growth curve. So let me go through them. The first one that we're going to talk about here is just the takeoff. This is where a business, and this is the line here, just a 45-degree angle. This is called the takeoff, and this is where a business just is consistently executing. That's the underlying concept behind a business. They're just continually executing, so they are getting the growth that they're after. So basically you've got strategy and execution. Strategy is knowing what to do, and execution is actually doing it. So a lot of these growth curves are affected by the execution part of strategy and execution, because knowing what to do is one thing, execution is the other. And so if you're going to get a lot of growth, you obviously want to work on both, knowing what to do and then actually getting it done. And then as you progress up the progression chart that I talked about, the execution when you first start off and you go from here to here, go from nowhere to where you are probably right now, a lot of that execution was probably down to you. And then to go from where you are to where you want to be isn't going to necessarily be the same things that you did. So what got you from here to here is not necessarily going to get you to where you want to go. And so you need to change some things. That could be adding more team in, it could be getting more infrastructure, that could be doing a whole bunch of different things, which can be very scary. So on the takeoff growth curve, this is the underlying concept is you are continually executing. And the problem with that is you need to be patient, because it's not that sexy and it's a lot of work, particularly when you're going through the sole proprietor and the manager professional stages and you're building up to leadership. It can be a lot of work on you. And this is where, if you want to speed it up so you can get an inflection from it, is you need to start leveraging people and systems / technology. So to move it away to get a little bit more sexy, because the results that you're feeling that you're getting aren't that great. So for example, a client that came to me, which was Big Commerce, when we first worked with them, they were consistently executing and they were getting this takeoff curve, which was great for them. So they came to me, they were continually executing, then they continually executed, and then things went like that. So they were on the takeoff curve, and then they went on to a launch where they actually just went through the roof. And that is because they got to this level and they started leveraging. How did they leverage? They started employing really good people to help do really good things in their business, and they move from that manager level in the progression chart up to the leadership level where they built a team that builds the business. And that is how you can move off that growth curve. So if you're on that growth curve right here, the antidote or the solution is to leverage through people and through systems. And to do the people thing, obviously you've got to learn how to build a championship team that can build your business. It's very easy to hire people, but to get the people that you've hired to do great things, man, that's a big gap sometimes. Anyway, so that's the takeoff curve. Now, the next one is the launch curve. This is this one right here. So a client could be going along and doing a lot of things right, but it hasn't just clicked. And that could be they're doing ad hoc marketing, and all of a sudden we get them into automated marketing and marketing through all the different channels at world-class levels. All of a sudden, guess what's going to happen to the business? Boom. So if a business has got little or no team, little or no marketing, it's very easy to fix and to get them to go through a launch curve. Because if you can hire the right type of people, build them up so they build the business, and then take your marketing and then put automation into place using the right strategies to market your business, boom, you can just explode this one out here. So for example, I had a client come to me, Jason Tarul from Aquavista Glass in Queensland. Now he was continually executing actually. He was on a bit of a takeoff curve before me. Now this section here is BC, that's before Casey. This is AC after Casey. So he was doing some pretty good things, you know. His business is going well. He got it to about $60,000 a month. But then what we do, because his growth curve his business wasn't fully utilised, what he needed to do, he'd been around a lot of people. This goes back to his accelerator group, where his community and the support that he was getting was where they were saying to him, oh no, you can't do this or you can't do that. He was around people that were less than what he was in terms of where he wanted to go. So this is where your accelerator model, that's where it really comes into play. You've got to start hanging around people that can take you to a higher level. And me, I was the impetus for that. He came to me and I was head and shoulders above where his other network was in terms of how to grow a business. And so I catapulted him from $60,000 a month right up to $600,000 a month. And I think it took us around about 10 months or something like that. So he exponentially increased his business because we put him onto the right marketing and we built the right team so he could move from being the manager, because he started off as a sole proprietor, built up to manager, and that's where he came to me at. He was just exhausted, he was doing 1,000,000 hours, and so we could build a team, put the automated marketing in place, take him up the progression chart, and then take him up to get maximum returns on a launch curve. However, the challenge with a launch curve is you need to continue executing, because you kind of can get to this level and think, hey, I'm there, I'm a business guru. You need to continue executing to keep that going up, and that's where you can really get exposed on this. But to go from like a takeoff curve to a launch curve, you just need to switch, and that's a lot of that's powered by your belief. So we've done a takeoff, we've done a launch curve. Let's do the less sexy one, and this is called a slow burn. And this is the time. Okay, so let's say this is time, this is money. Obviously, you're earning more money when you're going up this way, but this is the length of time. What you'll notice with this slow burn is it's hardly going up at all with the money. And this one sucks, to be honest. People in this growth curve, they're putting on team, they're putting products and services into place, and they're just not getting the return from it. So the problem with this curve is you can be defeated. And the challenge with it is your business isn't fully developed. Whereas a launch curve, you've got some development in place, but it's not being utilized. This long, slow burn is your business hasn't been developed yet. So it's not fully developed to be able to be taken off. So this section here is the tedious bit, and that's what hurts a lot of people. And this is where they start going, am I doing the right thing? This is where you need to speed things up. You need to hustle, whether you get people in or you just work overtime, to bring this time back so you can start going up. So you need to get your people into place, your products into place, or your marketing into place, or your warehouse into place, or your locations, or whatever it is. You need to act fast. You need to go. You need to hustle so we can get to this period, to this part here. All right, so the next one, so that's a long, slow burn, that's an unsexy one. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the shift. I think it's called the lift off. So we go to the lift-off curve. So this is where you're going along, you're sort of a bit on a slow burner, and all of a sudden you go, boom, you inflect. It's quite an aggressive one as well, and then you're in lift-off and you just go. So the key thing here is there's a fundamental shift in the business. So this is kind of where you weren't believing things, or it was taking time, and all of a sudden things worked and then the business took off. And then we're into this section as well. So this is a significant change in the business circumstances. And again, once you're into these growth bits here, you need to continually execute. And hopefully you've got a team in place from the accelerator chart where you're not doing the work. Because if you're doing the work on these, it's going to fall over once you start to employ people if you're not able to build the team well, because they're not going to be able to execute like you did. And you'll get sucked into this Superman syndrome of saving the day, and everyone in your team will know that you saved the day, so therefore you'll be working heaps and heaps of hours. And that's the pits. So this one here, you need to get your team into place so you can continue to execute, all right? And the thing here is you just need to trust your instincts. Like on this long slow burner, you need to trust your instincts that what you're working on is going to work. And then once you start going up and you start getting results, take your results and invest it back in your business to continue the growth. What tends to happen to a lot of businesses once they go through this growth section, where the rewards start coming from them, they start to pull the money out of their business because they've worked so hard to get those rewards. I need to caution you on that, because the closest time you're going to go under is during fast growth, because your cash flow probably won't keep up. So make sure you're using that money correctly, whether it's in your business to reinvest to keep you going, or in other marketing strategies, or into better team members, or if you're pulling it out, putting it into investments or long-term holding it rather than splashing it around, because you're probably going to need it once you go through your growth section. Now, the good point here, in any of these growth curves, you can switch and change. And it doesn't mean you have to stay on one. So you might be on a slow burner and all of a sudden you can switch it. So rather than it going to there, you can switch it like this one, like a lift off here, or you can turn it into a takeoff, or you can turn it into a launch as well. And that is just about being aware of where you are on the graph and knowing what it is you need to do. So these guys here need to be, these guys here, they're on the launch, they need to get a good team in place to continue to execute. On a switcher, they need to work faster in this section to be able to switch it, or so the lift off, they need to switch it earlier so they can get the results. In a slow burner, they need to work on the development of their business faster so they can get the results a little bit earlier. And the takeoff, guys, that, to be honest, is the takeoff. That's the best one that you'll want to see. Actually, it's boring to be on because you're continually executing. But if you can work your way out of the business and get your team to do it, if you're on that growth curve, that's gold. So there you go. They're the 4 growth curves, and if you can take that with your knowledge of the accelerator, with your knowledge of the progression, with your knowledge of how to use your team, your time and your money, and deal with your fears and all the other different things I've talked about in this program of the Ad 10 Growth Show series so far, it's going to help you accelerate your business growth to epic levels, a lot faster and a lot sooner. So if you like this program, this particular episode, I'd love you to share, comment, and tag in all the people that you think would love to hear this or need to hear this to help them with their business growth. My name is Casey Gollan. I'd love to have you on board someday as a client. We do Ad 10 coaching, we do Ad 10 services to help grow businesses. So come on by our website, ad10million.com. Get yourself a free cheat sheet from our website, whether it's on AdWords, Facebook, SEO, LinkedIn, lead generation, and also coaching. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.